Right.
Check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
Behind the bars, life isn't always as it seems, especially for the rich and famous. A former prison guard is breaking their silence, spilling jaw-dropping secrets about Diddy's life behind bars. From special privileges to unexpected struggles, this tell-all reveals the untold reality of how one of hip-hop's biggest icons navigates incarceration. Get ready for a story that shatters illusions and uncovers the raw truth about living locked up in luxury or not. Cassie's lawsuit and Diddy's arrest. Diddy's arrest sent shockwaves through the public and created ripples within the prison system itself. This wasn't just a case of another celebrity scandal, it was something far more sinister. The charges leveled against him were serious, and the ensuing courtroom drama captivated audiences for months. Each hearing seemed to unveil new layers of mystery and speculation, leaving the nation divided over his guilt and the fairness of his treatment. What truly stunned the public, however, was the decision to deny Diddy bail, not once but 3 times. For someone of his stature, this was highly unusual. Celebrities in legal trouble often secure house arrest or other accommodations, but Diddy was sent to Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. Known for its harsh conditions, the MDC is a place that most inmates dread. Yet insiders reported that Diddy walked into the facility with an air of confidence, as if he were stepping onto a stage, not into a jail. This sparked a broader conversation about the justice system. Many questioned why someone as high profile as Diddy couldn't secure bail. Isn't he innocent until proven guilty, some asked? Others argued that his immense resources made him a flight risk, though skeptics noted that his fame made it nearly impossible for him to disappear unnoticed. Regardless of public opinion, Diddy's incarceration didn't follow the usual script, and soon rumors of his life behind bars began to surface. An anonymous guard from the facility, who later resigned citing fears for their safety, described a series of unusual events that unfolded during Diddy's stay. According to the whistleblower, Diddy wasn't treated like an ordinary inmate from the moment he arrived. Instead, it seemed as though the facility bent over backward to accommodate him, creating an atmosphere of secrecy and tension among the staff. The first red flag was the food. In a facility where most inmates endure barely edible meals, Diddy's dinners were extraordinary. Gourmet dishes were delivered to his cell nightly, complete with roasted chicken, fresh vegetables, and decadent desserts. These meals stood in stark contrast to the usual prison fare and immediately set Diddy apart from the rest of the population. Over time, other luxuries began appearing in his cell. The guard described designer clothing, high-end headphones, and a custom leather-bound journal embossed with gold initials, items that no ordinary inmate could ever hope to access. Such privileges were unheard of in a place like MDC, which is notorious for its strict rules and harsh environment. The most bizarre reports, however, revolved around Diddy's visitors. According to the whistleblower, late-night visits became a regular occurrence. Long after official visiting hours ended, high-profile individuals arrived at the facility. These visitors weren't typical family members or legal representatives. They were business tycoons, public figures, and even individuals tied to Diddy's past. The guard claimed that the staff was instructed to remain silent about these visits and avoid asking questions. The secrecy surrounding these meetings only fueled speculation about what was really happening behind closed doors. Adding to the mystery were unexplained glitches within the facility during Diddy's stay. Security cameras would inexplicably malfunction, and certain areas were temporarily restricted to staff. While such incidents could have been dismissed as technical issues, the timing raised eyebrows. Some began to wonder whether these disruptions were orchestrated to facilitate something larger. This treatment sparked heated debates among those following the case. Why not place Diddy under house arrest? Many argued that incarcerating someone of his wealth and influence was impractical and expensive. Others pointed out the challenges of managing a celebrity in a high-security facility. Placing him in the general population would have been risky, not just for Diddy, but for the prison's operations as a whole. Yet the alternative, isolating him and granting him privileges, created its own complications, fueling resentment among other inmates and staff. The situation also highlighted a stark contrast in the application of justice. Life in prison is harsh and unforgiving. For Diddy, however, it appeared to be a curated experience, one where his resources and connections afforded him a level of comfort unheard of in such an environment. This raised uncomfortable questions about the role of privilege in the justice system. Was Diddy receiving special treatment because of his influence, or was this a calculated move to keep him in line for reasons the public wasn't privy to? As whispers of Diddy's unusual treatment continued to circulate, it became clear that his time behind bars was far from typical. Whether this was a case of preferential treatment or something more sinister remains unclear, but one thing is certain, his story is far from over. Diddy's arrest and subsequent incarceration have not only exposed cracks in the system, but also reminded the world of the blurred lines between justice, power, and privilege. The strange glitches and blackouts. The security cameras in Diddy's block would flicker and distort at the same times every night, usually around 1 in the morning and again at 3. The footage would warp, freeze, or go completely dark before returning to normal. When the guard reported this to the tech team, they dismissed it as a glitch caused by outdated equipment. However, the consistent timing made it clear this wasn't a coincidence. Not long afterward, Carolyn claimed the disturbances were intentional. Someone or something was tampering with the feed. During these blackouts, the whispers began. Late at night while patrolling, the guard described hearing faint voices like murmurs floating through the silence. At first they thought it was just their imagination, but the sounds grew louder, distinct enough to make out laughter and fragments of words. Despite these unsettling occurrences, everything appeared normal when they checked the cells. Diddy, for his part, didn't seem bothered by any of it. In fact, he often looked amused, as if he knew exactly what was going on but had no intention of sharing. Whatever happened during those nightly blackouts left the guard unnerved and questioning what was real. The hidden discoveries. It wasn't long before the guard's curiosity got the better of them. During one of Diddy's recreational hours, they slipped into his cell, hoping to uncover the truth. What they discovered only added layers to the mystery. Hidden beneath his mattress was a piece of paper covered in cryptic symbols, none resembling any language the guard had ever seen. Alongside it, a note scrawled in hasty, uneven handwriting read, "Watchers, silence, loyalty." Behind a loose brick in the wall, they found more. A crude drawing of an eye engulfed in flames was tucked away with a list of names, some of which matched visitors who had come to see Diddy late at night. The implications were too chilling to ignore. This was the breaking point. Unable to shake a growing sense of dread, the guard resigned shortly after, fearing the consequences of staying any longer. Yet even after leaving, the guard couldn't escape the unsettling feeling of being watched. Anonymous phone calls disrupted their nights. Unfamiliar cars lingered near their home. It was clear someone or something was keeping tabs on them. Desperate to share their truth, the guard broke their silence, determined to expose whatever was happening behind the walls of the Metropolitan Detention Center. Now the story has taken a legal turn. In a lower Manhattan courthouse, a judge ordered the prosecution to hand over findings from a recent raid on Diddy's cell. Official reports claim the seized items were nothing more than handwritten notes and a calendar, but the defense argues that there's much more to the story. Diddy's influence in the explosive charges. Is Diddy's influence really so far-reaching that it extends beyond the music industry, or is there something more unsettling going on here? Let's take a moment to unpack the mountain of allegations he's facing, because honestly it's a lot. These claims have spanned years and left even his biggest fans shocked. While Diddy has pleaded not guilty, the stories coming out paint a picture of someone caught up in a web of control, manipulation, and power. And trust me, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill courtroom drama. It all started with a bombshell lawsuit from his ex, Cassie Ventura, back in November of 2023. Cassie didn't hold back, accusing Diddy of a 10-year cycle of control and abuse during their on-again, off-again relationship. In her filing, she described feeling trapped, like there was no way out. Here's where things get really interesting. The case was settled in just one day. No trial, no public back and forth, just a quiet agreement. Some people saw it as Diddy trying to sweep things under the rug, while others couldn't help but wonder what he was so eager to keep out of the spotlight. Because let's be real, settling a case doesn't scream innocent, it just means you're willing to pay to make the problem disappear. And then there's Diddy's mom, Janice Small Combs, who finally decided to speak up. Through her lawyer, she called the whole situation heartbreaking and claimed her son was being judged based on lies, not truth. But if Diddy thought settling Cassie's claims would quiet things down, well, he was in for a rude awakening. Just days later, 2 more women came forward with lawsuits of their own. They accused Diddy of similar behavior, describing incidents that allegedly happened decades ago. One of them said she was mistreated by Diddy and his crew while she was still in college. Here's the kicker, the timing of these lawsuits wasn't random. They were filed under New York's Adult Survivors Act, which temporarily lifted the statute of limitations so victims could seek justice for events that happened long ago. And now everyone's watching closely to see how Diddy's legal team handles this growing pile of allegations. Diddy's legal team's defense strategy: Diddy has consistently denied the accusations against him, dismissing them as fabricated and a blatant money grab. His legal team has been vocal in supporting this position, arguing that the allegations are calculated attempts to exploit his fame and fortune. While this narrative might resonate in isolated instances, makes them harder to dismiss outright. The court of public opinion, as always, doesn't wait for a verdict. For many, the saying, "where there's smoke, there's fire," holds true. And for Diddy, the flames are threatening to engulf not just his public image, but the legacy he has spent decades building. But the real focus lies in his defense strategy, which is where things take an interesting turn. Diddy's legal team isn't simply on the defensive, they've chosen to go on the offensive. They have filed motions to dismiss certain lawsuits outright, citing a lack of credible evidence to back the claims. They've pointed out inconsistencies in timelines and have argued that some of the allegations are too old to be proven in a court of law. It's clear this isn't just about winning in court, it's about creating doubt in the public sphere. If his lawyers can successfully convince people that the accusations are either exaggerated or entirely fabricated, Diddy could salvage at least some of his reputation in the process. The defense has also turned to witnesses, reportedly working overtime to secure statements from individuals willing to vouch for Diddy's character or to provide alternative accounts of the incidents in question. However, this tactic has also brought its own share of complications. Allegations of potential witness tampering have surfaced, further muddying the waters. A judge denied Diddy bail for the third time, citing concerns over his potential influence on witnesses. In the ruling, the judge noted serious concerns about the danger Diddy could pose to both witnesses and the public at large. Allegations have also emerged that Diddy has engaged in attempts to intimidate witnesses, and there are even claims that he has continued to make contact with certain witnesses while in custody. This backdrop of accusations raises serious questions about the fairness and integrity of the proceedings. Adding another layer of intrigue is the sudden silence of certain individuals who had previously been vocal about their knowledge of Diddy's alleged behavior. Some insiders close to the case have suggested that these disappearances from the public eye might not be a coincidence. While there is no concrete evidence of foul play, the timing has certainly raised eyebrows. Speculation has emerged that these silences may be the result of behind-the-scenes negotiations involving financial incentives or other forms of pressure. One legal analyst speaking on a recent podcast theorized that these developments could reflect a broader pattern of loyalty being bought rather than earned. Whether driven by fear or financial motives, the absence of these voices has only added to the growing intrigue surrounding the case. Meanwhile, reports have surfaced of private investigators hired by Diddy's legal team, allegedly digging into the personal lives of his accusers. From financial records to past relationships, no stone appears to be left unturned in an effort to discredit their claims. Critics have argued that while such tactics may be within legal bounds, they cross ethical lines, particularly given the sensitive and deeply personal nature of the allegations. These aggressive measures have fueled further criticism, casting a shadow over Diddy's defense strategy. For Diddy, this case isn't just about avoiding legal consequences, it's about fighting for his legacy. The stakes are incredibly high. His aggressive approach might be his only shot at protecting his career and public image, but it comes with significant risks. With allegations of violence, witness intimidation, and even the mysterious disappearance of key witnesses hanging over his case, the fight for his freedom threatens to exact an extraordinary toll. Whether this strategy ultimately works in his favor remains to be seen, but it's clear that the battle will have far-reaching consequences, not just for Diddy himself, but for all those involved. Leaked tapes and Hollywood speculation. Wait a minute, are you saying there are tapes and they're being shopped? Yes, there have been people already shopping. We've heard about the tapes before, but now the shopping thing is happening. Yes, there have already been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in the industry. One particular person even contacted me directly to shop for a specific video they claim to have in their possession. Yet, even with these bold moves, cracks are starting to show. Legal experts are pointing out that Diddy's legal team is walking a very fine line. If they push too hard, they risk alienating both the jury and the public. It's a gamble, one attorney remarked during a recent interview. On the one hand, you want to protect your client's interests. On the other, you don't want to come across as bullying or overly aggressive, especially in a case that's already so emotionally charged. This balancing act adds yet another layer of complexity to a trial that's shaping up to be one of the most watched in recent memory. And let's not overlook the powerhouse legal firepower Diddy has brought to the table. Diddy's lawyers aren't just any lawyers, they're among the best in the business, known for representing high-profile clients in cases where the stakes couldn't be higher. One of his lead attorneys, Mark Agnifilo, has a reputation for being ruthless in court. He's the kind of lawyer who doesn't just play by the rules, he bends them to his advantage. In a recent statement, Agnifilo asserted that Diddy was focused, strong, and ready to fight. But how much of that is true, and how much is just a well-crafted facade? After all, the man sitting in this legal battle now isn't the same one who used to dominate red carpets and award shows. So what exactly is their argument? Most likely it will hinge on the claim that the activities in question were consensual and that the individuals involved willingly participated. Not only that, but they may argue that these individuals understood and assumed the risks of being present at those parties, engaging in the behavior, and voluntarily participating in those environments, including consuming substances, alcohol, and other related activities. Diddy struggles. As Sean Diddy Combs adjusts to life in the Metropolitan Detention Center, reports suggest his time behind bars is anything but ordinary, while a prison guard has hinted at possible special treatment, including gourmet meals and access to luxury items like headphones. These comforts pale in comparison to the freedom Diddy once enjoyed, and he knows it. Insiders reveal that the music mogul is channeling his energy into rigorous workouts, striving to maintain his physical and mental health. Yet cracks in his facade are beginning to show. During a recent court appearance, onlookers were struck by his gaunt and aged appearance. Elizabeth Milner, a reporter for the Law and Crime Network, described his transformation as astonishing, emphasizing the stark contrast between his glamorous pre-arrest lifestyle and his current reality. Despite reassurances from his legal team that he remains in good spirits, whispers from within the prison suggest a different narrative. Rumors indicate that Diddy's paranoia is growing, fueled by the belief that someone from his inner circle betrayed him. This sense of betrayal appears to be shaping his legal strategy. Allegedly, Diddy has instructed his lawyers to dig into the backgrounds of his accusers, hoping to uncover anything that could discredit them. While this aggressive approach might bolster his defense, it carries significant risks. A misstep could further tarnish his reputation and strengthen the public perception of guilt. Adding to the complexity is the sheer volume of accusations. Reports claim that over 2,300 people have contacted the law firm handling his case, though only a fraction, just over 100, have been deemed credible. While Diddy's team has yet to file formal charges, they emphasize the importance of thorough preparation, aiming to ensure no detail is overlooked. Looking ahead, Diddy's trial, set for May 2025, looms large. A guilty verdict could mean decades in prison, but even an acquittal may not salvage his legacy. For a man who built his empire on the image of invincibility, this ordeal has already inflicted lasting damage. Diddy's story is no longer just about legal battles, it's about the fragility of a legacy carefully crafted over decades. Now, as he faces the possibility of losing it all, the question remains: can he reclaim the narrative, or will this chapter define his story? Thanks for watching. If you found this insider truth about Diddy's life in jail eye-opening, hit that like button and subscribe for more exclusive content. Don't miss the real stories others won't tell. See you next time.